slash petty. She knows my name now? Not sure if this is considered petty revenge, but here goes. So a few years ago, my husband and I used to be really active in visiting the downtown area we used to live by. We also had a couple of part-time jobs in the service industry there, so we knew a lot of people by name. Bartenders, servers, retail workers, owners, etc. We were also all social media friends, so there was a lot of networking and just knowing who was who. Anyway, there was this one bartender in particular that my husband and I both had met one night while we were sitting at one of the popular bars. She was really friendly, and we all start having a great convo about the downtown scene. We then find out she's dating a friend of ours, so my husband and I introduce ourselves formally, and she does the same. We chatted a bit more after until we headed out, and that was that. About 2 weeks go by, and my husband and I are out and about, and we see the bartender again. She says hi to my husband and calls him by name, and she looks at me and says, "I'm sorry, what was your name again?" No biggie. I tell her, and the night goes on. Fast forward a couple months, and my husband and I were out with a group of friends, and we see her and her man in their own friend circle, and they eventually come over to us. Her boyfriend is our friend, so he says hi to us like usual, but she greets my husband by his name, then looks over at me and apologizes for not knowing my name. It didn't bother me. I went ahead and told her, and she just half-assed said, "My bad," without even looking at me. I don't usually take things to heart, but she has met my husband and I at the same time and has had the same amount of interaction. We know her BF. He knows my name. I was a little miffed. Time goes on, and randomly one day my husband and I were taking an afternoon walk downtown to get some sunshine and window shop, and we see the bartender chick walking our way. When she gets closer to us, she smiles at my husband and greets him by his name, and then looks at me again to say she's so sorry she doesn't remember me. Before I can even respond to her, she just starts bitching about how hungover she is, how she is absolutely beyond miserable, how she had to work until 3 a.m. bartending, and then had to sleep in her car because she had to open too. She said she can't even keep food down, and it is so hard just trying to walk to the bar to clock in. When she finished talking, I started applauding and said, "That story was the greatest story I have ever heard in my entire life. You should tell it again so I don't ever forget it." She looked at me with complete shock and locked eyes with me for a few seconds and finally managed to respond, "No, it isn't a great story." She didn't say anything else after and just walked away. After that, I saw her a couple more times downtown, and she made sure to avoid me. Feels good not having to repeat my name again.
U/acrobatic source 3.
I would have kept introducing myself using different names to really screw with her.
OP.
Darn it, that's brilliant.
Up the ante, serial killer names only. Yeah, Ted Bundy is a weird name for a girl, but my parents are kinda odd. U/Slamazoa93.
TBF, some people are really bad with names and faces. The part of my brain that recognizes faces is messed up and my memory is shot. I have to work really hard to remember people's names and faces. I got a new neighbor, and I know the husband's name, but the wife, I can't even remember her name or what she looks like. While I'm sure the bartender isn't afflicted with my conditions, just wanted to share as it was similar to your story.
OP.
I completely appreciate that perspective, and I've looked at it from that angle too. But a part of me feels like this girl just didn't like me. And honestly, she was always super flirty with my husband. So her not remembering my name almost felt like a jab of disrespect, if that makes any sense.
Spot on. She is trying her best to snub you.
She was absolutely trying to snub you. It would have been nice if your husband had snubbed her or spoken up on your behalf.
U/Leah Rose 1971.
What was your husband's response to her blatant disrespect? If she could remember your husband's name, her not remembering yours was intentional. Surely he had something to say?
OP.
Funny part is that he never liked her, so he was always confused why she was so warm to him.
U/certain scarcity 442.
I was about to mention this. She's being petty on purpose. I am a little disappointed that your husband didn't do anything to defend you.
OP.
He was pretty oblivious to her shit because it was always us in a busy social setting, so it'd be a quick hello to her from him after she'd greet him. Then he'd be doing his own thing. He's also the quiet type, and I'm the extrovert, fiery one.
She sounds like she has a face begging to be slapped. Sorry you had to deal with such a...
This is an interesting story. It's so simple yet so perfect. I do feel a bit bad for OP because her husband never picked up on this, but it doesn't look like she blames him. It seems pretty subtle if you're not really paying attention after all. There is also a discussion in the comments about face blindness. It kind of deviates from the story, so I won't include it in this video. But thanks to you/Keela Mumster, we know it's called prosopagnosia. Once again, I'm always open to criticism. Anything you guys can tell me will help. Let me know what you guys thought of the story in the description. And share any stories you guys might have as well. The link to the original post, as always, will be in the description. And make sure to follow for new videos every